no, women's sports does not need any more manufactured beef. We don't need to have players who really don't have a problem with each other basically getting thrown into a beef with each other, whatever, just to get more eyeballs on the game. At least I don't feel like it. I feel like the state of women's basketball is good or whatever, especially with the new crop of players coming in over the past couple of years in college and in the WNBA. So at least from my perspective, we don't need any manufactured beefs now. If people just got beefs or whatever and it's just like rivalries or whatever, like a rivalry on the court or whatever, of course, you on the court, you don't like that person. You want to win. They want to win. Both of y'all can't win, so y'all got to go at it with each other. But to do what I've seen done over the past few days, where Hannah Hidalgo of Notre Dame, superstar out of the University of Notre Dame women's college basketball program, she was on the live, and it was after the UConn game or whatever, which of course she was spirited, she was passionate. I don't think a lot of people really understand. It's clear when a person doesn't like someone or when a person doesn't like a certain team or whatever. Like, and as a sports fan, I know that. As a person who has witnessed plenty of rivalries or whatever, like, I know that or whatever. Like, it's some scrapping after the game, it's some scrapping during the game. You ain't gonna see them out being like Jeff Teague was with PJ Tucker or whatever. We just had some rock together. What did I do? Ain't gonna be none of that, because they ain't gonna be hanging out with each other. Like, they might keep it cordial, but that'll be it. But I think a lot of people took something from Hannah Hidalgo's live that maybe they was fishing for or looking for. So y'all came, well, not y'all, but people came on to Hannah Hidalgo's live. Granted, they was asking her about, the game against UConn, the epic game they had against UConn. Notre Dame won. She invoked the memory of Rike Ugumawale back when she was at Notre Dame, hitting them shots, jacking them up, hitting them from anywhere or whatever, just bucket, just being a walking bucket. And I don't even think Azzi Fudd even played in that game. And then people start talking about like, oh, well, if Azzi would have had played or whatever, and like, what do you think about Azzi or whatever? And Hannah said, well, I think what most people would say, not even just athletes, what most people say, well, what do you think about them? Like, granted, I guess the PC thing would have been like, oh, she's a great player and stuff like that or whatever, da-da-da-da-da. But all she just said is that I don't think about Azzi Fudd. And I'm sure she doesn't think about Azzi Fudd. And you know what else? I don't think Azzi Fudd thinks about Hannah Hidalgo either. I don't think she crosses Azzi's mind unless they got a game coming up, it's the next game coming up, or they're on the floor together. After that, you on to the next one. You're not thinking about them. And people have been trying to throw Hannah under the bus or whatever and stuff like that. Number one, we don't know these people. So for y'all to be like, oh, well, we thought that she was a sweetheart and stuff like that or whatever, like, I mean, at the end of the day, Hannah Hidalgo is a competitor. Hannah Hidalgo is a competitor. She out there. She gonna be a dog. Azzi gonna be a dog whenever Azzi gets out there, and it's just like may the best team win. But we don't need to manufacture beefs or whatever, because it's enough rivalries and spiritedness in sports already for y'all to just try to just pit people against each other. And especially, like, I don't think that that's going to be for the betterment of women's sports, to be like, oh, we only watch women's sports when you got the women going at it with each other, whatever. Like, think about some of the most popular storylines of college basketball, women's college basketball from last year. It was, of course, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. And both of them have came out and been like, yeah, I ain't got no problem with her. Now, whether you believe that or not, that's up to you or whatever. Like, hey, believe what you want to believe. But all I can do is just say, both of them coming out and saying they ain't got a problem with each other. And they really probably wouldn't even talk about each other unless it was, people asking them questions or whatever, and people trying to drum up stuff and just pick out every little thing or whatever. It is what it is. But on the other hand or whatever, and then what was the other biggest story in women's college basketball last year too or whatever? LSU and South Carolina having that dust up with Camila Cordoza and then Flau'jae Johnson, and then I think it was Flau'jae's brother jumping onto the court or whatever and stuff like that. It was just like, dude, that was the biggest thing. But Coach Dawn Staley, the GOAT herself, literally said that, yeah, we don't want the game to be about that. You want the game to be about what's going on the court. You want the game to be about, yo, them girls out there, they balling. They out there, they balling, they doing their thing or whatever. Not about all this other stuff, whatever. Not about all these soap opera WWE storylines and stuff like that people think okay, this is going to get some eyes on the game or whatever. I firmly believe that if people are fans of sports and they're fans of seeing just, pure good athletics, then that's going to happen. You're going to go on ahead and get that. But, man, I think people just trying to manufacture some stuff between Hannah and Azzi or whatever. And like I said, I'm pretty sure if you ask Azzi the same thing or whatever, even before this stuff with Hannah came out, Azzi will probably be like, yeah, I don't think about her. And that's fine because hell, how many people I don't think about, unless they right in front of my face or whatever. Some people be in front of my face and I don't think about them. But it's just about come on, y'all, let's be real about this. And I don't think a lot of people really want to be real about it. I think a lot of people would rather just keep on going with the hype train and the hype machine. But y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think or whatever is the off the court / manufactured beef good for women's basketball or women's sports as a whole? Or is it a thing of, well, I don't know. Is it a thing of nah, I don't need all that. Just keep everything on the field of play or whatever. Sports is already dramatic enough. Let's just keep it on the field of play. Y'all get at me in the comment section.